Let's take a look at the predictions then before we get drafting various different playoff formats.
Wait, I didn't submit my.
I didn't submit one either, but
no. We're just gonna have a look through them. We're just gonna
go down the line.
Yeah, go on then. So, Seoul Dynasty versus the San Francisco Shock. Jonathan reckons this is going to be one of the great games of our time. Bren thinks it might be a flop.
I think so.
The generation. It's
Actually, never mind.
No.
I take that back. Because the hero pool is questionable.
I
do not want to see some Orisa, like Super or Smurf on Orisa and some.
They're not bad.
Do you think?
Okay, we might see Ans on Widowmaker. That might be hype.
Not happening.
Nah,
if they play like a bunker composition,
you're actually just out of your bird.
Okay, clip it.
I don't think there's any way we see Ants get
put
fielded.
a bet on it?
Yeah, I would happily put a bet on that.
How
I would
much?
steal your money. What you want?
A bet for the entirety of the season. You don't think Ants is going
What?
to see play
We're
time?
not talking about the entirety of the season. We're talking about this one match.
Okay, well, I'm not making a bet on that match. But
All right.
predictions.
Well, before we even get into predictions, though, I want to just attack what Johnny's or discuss what Johnny said there. I think the meta will just be going back to Ryan May McCree, right?
Yeah.
Like, do we really think there's going to be that much bunker being played?
Not really.
So I've heard some rumors that a lot of pros actually think Widowmaker just is better than McCree, but it's so much harder to play Widowmaker because teams just speed around with McCree and are able to like play around her. So I'm curious with Lucio out of the meta that it's just going to be so hard to navigate and move properly that Widowmaker is just going to be able to.
I kind of agree with that though, because with the
my God,
Diva,
Josh agrees with me for once.
because the Diva changes, right? Have the Diva changes gone through?
I don't know.
For the
I
Overwatch
don't know
League?
if it's this week. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. But anyway, if you
think
don't,
that 1 second and booster cooldown makes a difference.
1 second booster cooldown makes an enormous difference when Lucio is also banned.
Yeah.
That duo that would previously run around the map like McGravy Rain or whoever the other duos were, your FD God and Hanbin, just speeding around the map, fucking on the Widowmakers. You can't do that anymore. So that does make a lot of sense. I suppose you could see Widow getting played quite a lot.
I feel like McCree adds so much more than Widowmaker though. Like at least
Shield
unless the map suits
Flashbang.
Widow, you get shield break, flashbang. You try and dive on a McCree, he's gonna flashbang Fana hammer you. You're gonna get so sued and you're gonna get dove on. Like
but we might not even see Reinhardt.
Yeah, but we're definitely not seeing dive.
Definitely not gonna see dive.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So, Seoul Dynasty versus the San Francisco Shock then, Jonathan. Since you've been vocal on it, if you think it's going to be a good game, who do you think is going to take it and why?
I think that you just logically have to predict the San Francisco Shock, despite my love for Profit and the gang. I think San Francisco just makes the most sense.
All right, fair enough.
I would have to agree.
In my brain, before I even make a prediction, I'm trying to think of who Seoul will field. They've got Profit and Fitz as a DPS duo. That should be bananas. That should be maybe the best DPS duo in the league.
Gesture.
Jesus Lord, the Profit sim comes out.
Profit is amazing.
The best DPS duo in the league.
It could be, yeah. Because you've got like Erster Edison is also another candidate of something fantastic. But Profit and Fitz are both so flexible from what we've seen so far.
Profit is very flexible. But it's been a while since he's been on top form.
Dude, give me Fleta and Ding, dude.
But that depends on the heroes, right? Like
and
Ding
DM.
isn't
Give me
that
DM
flexible.
as well. Give me DM as well. Give me
that's not a DPS duo at that point. It's a DPS
What do you mean?
trio.
What do you mean? No, it is.
I mean, the Shock have got some firepower.
I disagree with Profit not being at fine form, though, because I think Profit, when people think of Profit in 2019, they remember that he was started on Brig, switched over to Zarya, and then barely got an opportunity at the end to be able to play his heroes. But when he did play in the playoffs, he played the Pharah and he fucked on people. He absolutely dominated. They were playing Pharah Doomfist and he was pooing. Even though he's not really known as a Pharah player, he was going toe-to-toe with the best in the league.
Yeah, so Fitz Profit will be sick, though.
And then you've got, Marvel and...
Well, what? They'll play Gesture Michelle?
Yeah, I think they might play Marvel and Michelle, personally. If they're playing the Reinhardt, I think they'll play Marvel. If they are only playing Orisa, if Johnny's right, and Lucio and Reinhardt isn't played, then maybe they play Gesture for the Orisa.
Yeah. And then Bedosin and Toby?
I feel like a ballsy Soul prediction here, but I agree with Johnny. You have to go with Shock. Like you can't go with Shock you can't go against Shock until they lose.
Until you see them lose and you see the other team, you can't pick against them.
But I feel like if you were going on a gut prediction for the Soul Dynasty, you might be in the money. I feel like it's a
dunno.
very reasonable prediction to make.
Logically-
This Soul roster, I just love this Soul roster.
I think
I just do, but
I hated it in the offseason, and then I just look at it on paper and I'm like, how did I ever hate this? It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys.
But Toby's not that good, I suppose.
Yeah. But
and Badoshin, maybe they still flop.
I agree with you all. I think shock is a logical point. I wasn't going to be basing it off of logic. I was going to be basing it off how active the players have been on social media.
No.
Because the more active they are, the more kind of loosey-goosey they're feeling. you know?
Really.
do you
Right.
follow a lot of
There's-
the Soul Dynasties players on Twitter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gesture.
Good friends with Gesture.
Loves,
Good
he
friends with
loves being
Gesture.
in LA.
Yeah, Gesture's he has been having a good time in LA. I think that could affect him moving forward. This is the kind of speculation you need, though, in a sports show.
Right, yeah.
You
yeah.
need somebody to be digging
You're the
into-
TMZ.
Yeah, I'm the sort of TMZ side of things, and I wonder if we can get Captain Planet, get Ben on the case at this one. But I wonder if there's a correlation between wins and activity on social media. And the more active you are, the more likely you are to lose.
Those are the type of stats we need.
You could definitely measure that if you hunted back further enough.
You could
Yeah,
try.
yeah.
You would probably come up with it being absolute nonsense, but you could try.
I reckon
Yeah,
you might
you-
find a correlation.
Ben might be really
honestly.
bored.
The
I
more
mean,
time you spend on social
Yeah,
media,
Ben's
the more
gonna be
anxious
bored,
you
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You're a little bit, you're a little bit nervous. You're just trying to find escapism from the game.
Well, then that would be time spent on social media, not necessarily amount of
Yes.
posts.
but the amount of posts might correlate with time spent as well. Anyway, before we get into that,
Interesting.
that would be my logic
Yeah.
behind it, and I do predict a shock. There's no rhyme or reason. It's like we're back on the watch point desk, realistically.
So we're all going for the shock for various
Yeah.
different reasons.
Yep.
All right. So what about the Gladiators' next two games then? The first game on the Saturday is the LA Showdown. The Gladiators versus the Valiant.
I think it's hard. I think they split these games. I think they probably beat the Valiant and then lose to Soul. I think they're too
agree.
talented to go 0-2, and I can't see them beating Soul, so I give them the win over the Valiant.
Yeah.
It's kind of my logic behind it.
I feel like the Valiant impressed me a lot when we first saw them play this meta, but other teams have gotten better with it. Like I've seen better from Paris, from Philly in the Reinhardt, May, McCree kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
assuming we see that again, I think that Los Angeles, Valiant that is, have dropped behind a little bit. And if we don't see that again, it probably doesn't play into their specialities as much, so they lose anyway. So I think that the Gladiators have got a great chance of winning that first match.
I will say I do rate KSP.
Yeah, he's great.
So
actually.
Yeah.
I
he
think-
might be the
I think the
upset
DPS
factor.
line is better. Like I said, I think the Gladiators have the worst DPS line in their division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both of these games with Gladiators, Valiant, Gladiators, Soul, the way we're talking is almost like we're writing off the other side when we're predicting these, but I think that they have this should be close matches. This weekend
there's so much upset
Yeah,
is
potential
going
with
to
all
be
of these.
amazing.
Yes.
I think in terms
Yeah.
of the games, I think it is going to be good. Even if Soul get rolled over by Shock,
Alright.
I still think it'll be a good match. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys at the predictions. I think Gladiators over Valiant. I think Soul over Gladiators. But upset potential is abound.
Here's one. If you had to guarantee one match and the outcome this weekend out of all four, which one would you guarantee happens?
San Francisco or Valiant.
Yeah, Shock over Valiant.
Yeah.
I'd have to, but
kind of
but
the
even
one
that
you
one,
think of.
Even that
But
one,
even
yeah,
that
is-
one, yeah.
even that one, I
potential.
think is like a. Honestly, that's like a 35, 65, something like that. Like if I had to,
Yeah.
if I had to estimate percentages, because you're playing online, you're playing in a meta that we are not sure what's actually going to be played. Like we have some idea of what it might be, but we don't quite know. The Shock looked a little bit shaky when they played against Dallas, and they lost a map to them. And Valiant 3-0'd Dallas when they played against them in a similar meta. So it could be much closer than we think, and we already think it's going to be super close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great games. That entire division is going to be fantastic. The Chinese
gonna be
division is going to be
wild.
fantastic. I just hope that the Atlantic can keep up, because people are already starting to get a little bit bored, I think, of watching the Atlantic teams just consistently play against each other.